Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. All Things Middle-earth here with a first look view at the new units for Season 2 in The Lord of the Rings, The Rise to War, so stay tuned. Okay, in just a second, we're going to get into all the 4 units, all their stats, how I think they're best going to be used. We also have all of their abilities and description of those abilities, so we should get a pretty good idea of how these things are going to look in the game once Season 2 is live. Now, at the time of this recording, Season 2 is not live, and so anything that we talk about at this point is liable to change until they are officially in the game. So just keep that in mind as we talk through it. Again, we're very, very near to the season starting. It'll be, I believe, in less than 24 hours, but again, we'll see for sure. But anything that I talk about can change, so don't get your hopes up too high on any of these things, but hopefully we get a pretty general idea of how these characters are going to be used. And secondly, on that same point, if this video is live, that means Season 2 is most likely live, and I will be live over on Twitch for about the first 4 to 6 hours, most likely, of that season. So if you catch this video in the early couple hours of it, the link to Twitch will be in the description, and we'll be hanging out over there, testing out these new characters and checking out all the new features in Season 2. So we'd love to have you join us over there. But all of that out of the way, let's get into it. The first we're going to look at is the Warbeast. Now, the Warbeast looks to be for the evil faction. These are the Warbeasts that were used to pull Grond to Minas Tirith to knock the gates down. So most likely going to be an evil unit, an exclusive to evil unit as well. It does look like it is a hireable unit because it has the gold cost of 2,000 gold per unit. So there will be some kind of Warbeast lair or camp or whatever throughout the map. Hopefully, my hope for these different hireable units that we have is that they're just more accessible to all the factions, because there are some factions that have a harder time getting hireable units. So with new units and maybe other ones being shuffled around, hopefully there's a good balance on the map of who starts with what units around the map. So those are the Warbeasts. They have 20 units per command. They are a melee unit. Their damage is going to be sitting at a very high 72 through 90, so a decent range, but pretty high up there. They have 230 HP, 55 defense, 48 speed, and 100 siege. So these things are going to be very, very good at sieging. They also have, the information I have on skills for them is actually different than what's shown in the picture here, but I believe the information I have is more accurate than like this template here. So it actually looks like they're going to have 2 skills, and this healing one here, which is like the superiority that the Barrow-wights have, I don't think they're going to have that. It looks like they're going to have one ability called Wild Yell, and it says each round on own turn, allied ranged units deal an additional 20% damage on their next attack. So that's Wild Yell. And then the next ability is Bulwark, and that is defense plus 10, and enemies will prioritize this unit. Now, I believe those values, the defense plus 10, the 20% extra damage for ranged units, for all allied ranged units, I believe those are maxed out, but we'll see when we get into the game. It also looks like on this side it's called a Great Beast, so I'm not sure if the Warbeast is going to be the final name or if it'll be Great Beast. It doesn't really matter. But again, Wild Yell, Bulwark, it's going to be an upfront tanky unit that takes the hits and helps ranged units to do more damage. So that'll be a very interesting unit, and it'll be interesting to see how that's best used. Again, they've got the high siege, so evil already does really well at sieging, so that's not really something that we necessarily need to see. But again, just that tank to go out front and really bolster the ranged troops will be very interesting. So that is the Warbeast. So moving on, we're going to the Dunlanding, or the Dunlanding Warrior. Either one, I've got different kind of names and things here, so I'm kind of trying to make sure I get it as clear as possible. But the Dunlanding Warrior is a 100 unit per command. It's a melee troop, another hireable troop. It looks like, again, just because it has the gold here, I guess does not 100% confirm that it is going to be hireable. They could end up being just in someone's barracks. But at the same time, I don't really know where they would put a lot of these troops, so I don't really see them adding a whole lot of new actual conscriptable troops. I think hireable troops would be easier for them to add, so they don't have to shuffle around everyone's barracks. But again, we'll see. So Dunlanding has the 18 to 22 damage, 38 HP, 26 defense, 95 speed, and 15 siege. Now, the Dunlandings are most likely going to be an evil, hireable unit as well. The men of Dunland were notoriously evil and against the people of Rohan, so I would assume they'd be hireable by all, but I mean, maybe there's a chance they could be hireable by, not just evil side and usable by all. We'll see. Their 2 abilities, let's see here, are Barbarians. I think that's this first one. I think these look a little bit more accurate than the last one. Barbarians, again, I believe maxed out, is Siege plus 10, and it ignores the faction protection effects and inflicts full siege damage against all targets. So we say that one more time. This one, Barbarians, Siege plus 10, ignores faction protection effects and inflicts full siege damage against all targets. So another siege type of unit, which again, I don't think the evil side needs, but I guess if there are more options, that could be interesting to see how that plays out. So to my understanding, if that is maxed out at 10, that means their max siege would then be 25 with that, possibly put with the commander who also adds seeds. It could be interesting to see how these are used. And then that we have the looting, which I believe is the one in the game that we already have. It says when destroying field structures, speed plus 20 and gain resources. So that is the Dunlanding Warrior. Again, a very interesting type. Another one for the evil alignment, and another one that's probably going to be hireable. Again, we'll see once it comes out. But yeah, that's what we got so far on the Dunlanding Warrior. So moving on here, we have the Hobbit Hunter, or the Hobbit Archer, as it says on my other sheet. So we have the Hobbit Hunter or Hobbit Archer, either way. It is a 100 unit per command ranged unit. They do damage 15 at a max. 11 to 15 is the range. They have 25 HP, 8 defense, 112 speed, and 7 siege. Now, these ones do not have a gold cost associated down here. They are tier 2, so maybe they're just, maybe this is just going to be put in the barracks for a couple of different people, or I'm not sure. Again, this template could just be a template, and whether or not they are hireable or conscriptable will be seen when the new season comes out. But this one does not have the gold cost there. The two abilities they have, which I think are very interesting, we have firstly sure-footed. Allied units, healing received plus 20%. More units are converted into wounded soldiers after battle, fewer deaths. So we have that one already for the other Hobbit type troop in the game. And then the second one, which I think is very interesting, is called Fearless. And it says against higher tier enemies, damage plus 20%. So this is a tier 2 enemy. And my understanding is if this unit's coming up against any tier 3 units or higher, they are going to do an extra 20% damage, which I think is very, very interesting to allow a lower level troop to punch up a little bit higher. So that will be interesting to see how that's used, as it's going to help a little bit with healing, with that extra healing. For allied units, they receive an extra 20%. There's less deaths, more converted into wounded soldiers, and then the extra damage for the higher tier troops that they battle against. So that'll be a very interesting troop type. I'm excited to see. Again, on my new server that's starting really soon here, I'll be playing as a good alignment. So the Hobbit Hunter will be one of the ones I'll hopefully be able to try out pretty soon here. All right, and last but not least, we have the Bre Rider. This is a 50 unit per command mounted melee troop. They have a damage range of 35 to 40, so a pretty high damage with a not too big a range there, so pretty good. They have 90 HP, 32 defense, 121 speed, and 20 siege. Now, this one also looks to be hireable. It has that 1,500 gold down there in the bottom, so I'm assuming it will also be hireable, but we'll see for sure. There are two abilities on this one. The first one is, and again, I don't think they're exactly the same. The first one is mounted, which side is that one? I think all mounted units have that, where their overall damage received is reduced by 10%. Then this one is very interesting. It's called Steady Will, and it is on themselves. Each round, there is a 100% chance to cure negative status effects. So, again, I'm assuming that'll be maxed out at 100%. Whether maybe it starts at 10, I'm not sure, but 100% chance to remove. To cure a negative status effect, again, is very, very interesting for them. So they are going to be that mounted troop type, take a little bit less damage, and be able to cure negative status effects. So paired with a healing type of commander, this troop could be very, very good at keeping themselves clean to continue battling. But those are the 4 troops. Just a very quick look at them and their abilities. I wanted to go through one more time on these 4, just so you can see it one more time. I have a very short description for each of them. I'm not going to do like the lore description. I think that's already been put out there. But just the general description of each of the units and how they're possibly best used. So we'll start with the Great Beast, or the Warbeast. It says extremely durable frontline unit that provides a bonus to ranged units. Then we have the Dunlanding, which is an excellent siege unit that ignores faction protection effects. Then we have the Hobbit Hunter, Hobbit ranged unit with a bonus against superior unit types. And the Bre Rider, mounted units that are skilled at removing negative effects. So just one more quick look at each of those. But again, those are the 4 units coming in Season 2. At the time of this video, they should be out in the game. So hopefully we're actually getting some testing going. But the idea is everyone can focus on playing the game when it comes out. And this is just a resource people can use to look at the units and their skills. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider hitting that subscribe button to join our fellowship here on YouTube. I'll also have a video coming out at this exact same time for all the commanders and their skills. So if you want to check that out, that'll be linked in the top right. But I'll see you all in the next video.